How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome back to the Geekritique show. I'm Dakota.
I'm Jen.
And Jen isn't feeling too well today. She's,
I overdid myself this weekend, so I kind of lost my voice.
She ran a half marathon, she yelled a lot at a concert, and she's been really sick. So I think she has a pass this week, so we're gonna...
I was sick on Friday, and then I ran on Saturday and went to the concert, and I just kept singing the songs. I don't know why. I thought that was a good idea.
It wasn't. It wasn't
Nope.
a good idea. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't a good idea.
It was the best weekend ever.
Yeah, and right before that, we went to see the Rickmobile. You can actually click this link right here, and you can watch that video of a real-life Rick Sanchez mobile with a bunch of Rick and Morty merch. It was great. But anyway, let's get back to the point. We're going to be talking all about the latest episode of Doctor Who, Extremis. This is the first in a 3-part story. Wow, what a way to start it off, honestly.
Yeah, I think this is definitely my favorite episode of the season. I feel like I've said that a few times at this point, though.
Which is a good thing, because it's like every episode I'm more and more excited about what's happening later on in the series, you know? And we're already at that point where this is the midpoint of the season. This is episode 6. We only have 6 more after this.
And I feel like this episode left us with a lot more questions than answers, but that's a good thing because we have 2 more episodes of this concept to go.
Right. Extremis did a really good job of setting up the stakes. What's at stake in this story? It's the entire world. People who are capable of replicating memories and worlds and beings to an almost unperceptible degree. And that's extremely powerful. Let's just jump right into it. You wrote down some notes. Let's just go over it because honestly, this is going to be a shorter episode. We don't have a lot to say because there is no finality with this first episode. And we have watched it twice, so we have our facts down. We don't know the resolution to any of these facts. We're going to have to wait for the next 2 episodes to finally just watch it all together and, you know, get a good consensus on what's happening here. The first point we want to talk about is in the very beginning we're introduced to this execution planet. A planet literally dedicated to performing perfect executions. And the people who run this place are really into it. Like, you wrote down that they view life as a cunning enemy.
And the reason why I wrote that down is because that almost seems like it's totally against the way that the Doctor views things. So I just am curious to know why he's even going along with this in the first place.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because...
Like, what could Missy have done that's that bad that he would even work with these people? Or is it that he was planning on freeing her the entire time, but he seemed very swayed by, you know, what Nardole had to say?
And the last time we did see Missy, she was left on Skaro in the midst of a Dalek/sewer Dalek hybrid monster being.
Interestingly, the Dalek word for sewer is the same as their word for graveyard.
Obviously, she escaped. You had asked me, like, whether or not you think it was the Daleks that ordered her execution. We kind of discussed that, and yeah, it doesn't make any sense. They would literally exterminate her, like, right then and there, because they have no qualms about it. They don't have any self-restraint.
They would have loved it. Well, the reason, just to, you know, let you know where I was coming from.
Tell us.
The reason why I said that was because Missy, like, one of the first things she says is that she heard the Doctor was living in marital bliss. Then she says that's the word among the Daleks. I mean, you know, the last time we saw her was with the Daleks, so it makes me wonder, like, was she just hanging with them? Like,
it sounds
what was
like
she
it.
doing? You know, and, like, do the Daleks, like, gossip? Ooh, word of the street is the Doctor got married.
We must exterminate both of them. That's an interesting little scene there. We do learn that it's Missy behind the vault. Pretty early on.
Which we already had an inkling about anyway.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious, I think. Glad to hear it's finally confirmed. My question is, was the body supposed to be dead for 1,000 years and people weren't supposed to, like, look upon it or touch it or go near it and he had to guard it? Or...
I was a bit confused by that too. I thought maybe it was just a precaution to make sure she's really dead. Like
a
if
Time
it's
Lord's...
laying there after 1,000 years and it hasn't moved at all, then you're like, yeah, it's dead.
Okay, it's basically like a Time Lord failsafe. Like there's no way he can eat or get enough energy out of this caged prison to survive, maybe?
Yeah, and I think that's why he said, like, life is a cunning enemy. Like, sometimes they think someone's dead, but then they're back.
Okay.
And I feel like it's kind of funny because it's saying that, and I feel like that always happens in movies where they, like, fake someone's death, but then they're, oh my gosh, they're actually alive. So
Right.
I think that's kind of cool.
It wasn't a surprise to me when she was alive. I half expected her to regenerate right then and there, but
Yeah, that kind of would have been cool.
that would have been cool.
And most unprecedented.
Yeah, Michelle Gomez actually, yeah, we haven't seen a regeneration of the Master.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Michelle Gomez has mentioned that she is leaving Doctor Who after this season. So we're after this season we're going to be getting a whole bunch of leaves. Stephen Moffat, Michelle Gomez, and Peter Capaldi obviously are all leaving Doctor Who. As sad as that is, we do have all new Who to look forward to. One thing that was great about season 5 of Doctor Who was the fact that it was Matt Smith's first season. Russell T Davies had gone, David Tennant had gone, Donna Noble had gone, John Sim, everyone. They had all gone. It was an all new cast, all new showrunner, all new Doctor, and it worked. It worked for quite a few seasons until it started getting stagnant again. All that, but
I think that's the beauty of Doctor Who, the fact that it is so malleable and there is so much room for change that if it does get stagnant, we can always, know that there's, like, changes can come and it'll get good again.
you can regenerate it. Veritas,
Yeah.
the ancient text.
Truth.
Yeah, in Latin that literally means truth, veritas. I like the fact that the Pope himself came to the Doctor asking for help.
And the Doctor didn't see him.
Yeah, like,
So
why
cringy.
doesn't the Pope come and tell me himself? And I love the fact that Nardole was going about the entire episode being the blind guide,
Yeah.
but, like, saying things really obviously, like, oh my, there's a light coming from the hallway just there, or
Like 10 feet ahead of us.
or oh, there's the title, it says Veritas, huh? So he was clearly helping the Doctor out by, not telling people that he was blind. The Doctor doesn't want people to know that, but I thought that was great. Nardole did a great job, being the secret badass.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that one scene with him had me dying laughing where he, like, puts Bill in her place and then he calls her baby doll and then screams when he sees a corpse immediately after.
It's
I
so
thought that
good.
was really funny.
Yes. One thing I had a question about when it came to the Pope and his cardinal translating him. Why didn't the TARDIS translate the Italian that the Pope was saying? I thought that was really weird. That was actually the first point where I was taken out of the episode and I was like, something's not right here. The TARDIS isn't working properly. I don't know if that was...
Maybe that will be explained.
That might just be bad writing. They may have just forgotten that little rule that they had written them. Hey, it's possible. They do it all the time. That was the first point where I was like, no, the TARDIS would definitely translate Italian. But I don't know.
I don't know.
That seems like I don't know. That's something that the aliens could just forget about replicating.
Yeah, that's true. That's something that they might not realize.
Yeah.
So.
But why didn't the Doctor notice? Anyway, let's move past that because there's no clear answer as of this
The
point.
thing that to me was weird about the Veritas was that it was translated by, like, an early Christian sect. And to me, it's like if these aliens created this, like, other world, this fake world, why would the Veritas even be in their system? Like, someone had to have put it there, someone had to have realized it at an early age. Or is it going to be like the Doctor goes back? Because even when we see the painting of Pope Benedict, she looks absolutely gorgeous and very, like, almost like a real... And I know that's stupid because obviously all paintings, or not all, but a lot of paintings are done by a real person, but they took so much time painting it and putting it there that it makes me wonder if we're going to see that actress. So it makes me wonder if the Doctor is going to go back in this fake timeline and make corrections.
It's possible that he's part of his own self-fulfilling prophecy. And we see that a lot with Doctor Who. A lot of Moffat stories have that very cyclical experience. So I'm really interested in that. Yeah, it's a really good point. I do expect them to show this female Pope Benedict. I think that's a cool concept. Perhaps the Doctor goes back into that time period, creates the Veritas text in the real world, and when it's copied over into the fake world, the fake simulation, that's when the text actually works as intended, which is to show the flaws in the simulation, show that there is no randomness in computerized numbers, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think that is really cool. And I thought it was interesting that he compared it to a video game, and like, you know, the characters in video games are feeling that they are real. I thought that was a cool concept, just for them. It's so sci-fi, but then because it's like dealing with the Vatican and this old, you know, library, and they're making like magic references, that seems so fantasy. Not like the Vatican is fantasy, but I'm just saying like that element, like she even says Harry Potter at one point, like very fantastical. So I think the blending of the two cultures almost is really cool.
And that's not something particularly new in science fiction. We have cases like The Matrix. We have cases like Tron.
But usually those are so future based.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's,
like
well,
have
not necessarily, because in The Matrix it was present day 1999.
Yeah, but I'm saying like to go back to, I don't remember the date, but like to go that far back in a fake history is really cool to me.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it's a cool concept, definitely. One thing that we have to talk about is the device that the Doctor uses to steal a brief period of sight from one of his future regenerations, and whether or not that has any effect in the real world, because he did that in the copied over simulation. Does that carry over to his future regenerations in the real world? He does keep those memories of the simulation as per his recording glasses.
That's a really good question.
And I guess it's something we won't know until the regeneration happens, technically.
Which is really cool to think about. One thing that I wanted to talk about was that white room where all of the projectors were. The room where Nardole realizes that he's fake and puts his hand behind the projectors. I think the different portals that they lead to are very interesting. One of them being CERN, which is a, you know, science laboratory.
The particle physicist in Europe.
We also have the Pentagon, the White House, and the Vatican. And I thought what the Doctor said at the end was really interesting, where he's like, I don't really know what I believe in. I don't know if I believe in anything. And to me, like, those different rooms are things that people do, like, really firmly believe in, like science or government or religion. Like, those are things that people put their faith in.
That's true.
So I wonder if that's going to be some kind of, like, theme. Okay, so these people in this fake world might not be actual humans, but if they still have beliefs in something, anything, does that qualify them to be real? So I think that's a really cool concept that I'm wondering how it's going to play out, and I think that could potentially be really beautiful, you know, depending on how they do it. But I have high hopes for the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, so I guess the big question for me is, or there's 2 big questions for me, like, what exactly can we take from this fictional world? What will carry over into the real world, basically? Mm-hmm. And then who is setting up this fictional world as a simulation to best invade and kill the world or kill the Doctor? Who is setting us up? Is it Misty?
I was wondering the same thing, just because that is something so horribly dreadful that the Doctor would consider executing her for.
Like evil plans go, it's honestly not as crazy as some of the Master's previous plans. Like when John Sims' Master decided he was going to become everyone in the world so that everyone can hear the 4 knocks in his head.
I'm president. President of the United States. Look at me.
It was fun at the time, but man, that dated pretty quick.
That episode, every time I think about it, all I can picture is him eating, and it horrified me.
Starving. Now you see, that's what you don't want to do.
Alright guys, what did you guys think about this episode? We don't want to rant on too much more about this because, again, there's not too much to actually dissect as far as theme and stuff because we don't know the full picture. But what do you guys think? Did you guys like it as much as we did? Because obviously we did like it. A full review will come 2 episodes from now. As it stands, this is a really promising start to what could be a really good 3-episode arc, which is very rare for New Who. Oh, really quick. Star Wars celebrates its 40th anniversary on May 25th, which is in a few days from recording this, and we're extremely excited. We've already recorded one thing for it that we're going to be releasing on that day. You can find it now by going to our Patreon and donating to our fund, joining our Geekritique army, so to speak. But definitely look out for that on May 25th, and we plan to have more than one video if everything works out with this little one's throat. Anyway guys, have a good one.
Bye.